Over 6,000 years before the events of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, Middle-earth was under the rule of the Dark Lord Morgoth. Now during this time, Beren, a mortal man, while walking through the elven realm of Doriath, would see and fall in love with the elven maiden Luthien. In exchange for her hand in marriage, King Thingol, her father, would task Beren with retrieving a Silmaril from the crown of Morgoth. Beren then travels to the elven city of Nargothrond, where King Finrod Felagund and 10 other elves agree to accompany him on this most dangerous of journeys. An excerpt from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lay of Lithien. Now far beyond the realm immune, from orc and demon and the dread of Morgoth's might their way had led, in woods or shadowed by the heights, they watched and waited many nights, till on a time when hurrying cloud and moon and constellation shrouded, winds of autumn's wild beginnings sought in the boughs, and leaves went spinning down dark eddies rustling soft, they heard a murmur hoarsely waft from afar, a croaking laughter coming now louder, now they heard the drumming of hideous stamping feet that tramped the weary earth. Then many a lamp of sullen red they saw draw near, swinging and glistening on end of spear and scimitar. Their hidden eye, they saw a band of orcs go by with goblin faces, swart and foul. Bats were about, they manned the owl. The ghostly nightbird cried from trees above. The voices died. The laughter, like clash of stone and steel, passed and faded. At their heel, the elves and Beren crept more soft than foes stealing through a croft in search of prey. Thus to the camp, lit by flickering fire and lamp, they came and counted their full 30 orcs sitting in the red flare of burning wood. Without a sound, they one by one stood silent round, each in the shadow of a tree, each slowly, grimly, secretly bent his bow and drew his string. Hark, how they sudden twang and sing, when Felagund let forth a cry, 12 orcs sudden fall and die, then leaping forth, casting their bows, out their bright swords and swift their blows. The shrieking orcs now shriek and yell as law stings deep in lightless hell. Battle there is beneath the trees, bitter and swift, but no orc flees. There left their lives that wandering band, and stain no more that sorrowing land with rape and murder. Yet no song of joy or triumph over wrong the elves there sang. In peril swore they knew, for never to alone so small an orc band went they knew. Swiftly the raiment off they drew and cast their corpses in a pit. This desperate council had the wit of Felagund, who for them devised as orcs his comrades he disguised. Then Felagund a spell did sing of changing and of shifting shape. Their ears grew hideous and gaped, their mouths had started like a fang. Each tooth became as slowly he sang. Their gnomish raiment then they hid, and one by one behind him slid. Behind a foul and goblin thing what once was elven fair and king. Northward they went, and orcs they met, who passed, nor their going let, but hailed them in greeting, and more bold they became as the long miles rolled. Now in the hill was the abode of one most evil, and the road that from Meridian thither came he watched with sleepless eyes of flame. Men called him Thu, and as a god in after days beneath his rod, bewildered bowed to him and made his ghastly temples in the shade. Not yet by men enthralled abhorred, now was he Morgoth's mightiest lord, master of wolves whose shrieking howl forever echoed in the hills, and foul enchantments and dark sylladry did weave and wield. And Glamory that necromancer held his host of phantoms and of wandering ghosts, of misbegotten spell-wrong monsters that about him thronged, working his bidding dark and vile, the werewolves of the Wizard's Isle. From through their coming was not hid, and though beneath the eaves they slid of the gloomy forest's hanging boughs, he saw them afar off, and his wolves did rouse. Go fetch me those sneaking orcs, he said, who far thus strangely as if in dread, and do not come as all orcs use, are commanded to bring me news, to me, to Thu. From his tower he gazed, and in him grew suspicion and a brooding thought, waiting, leering, till they were brought. Now ringed about with wolves they stand, and fear their doom. Alas, the land of Nargog left behind. Foreboding evils weigh their mind as downcast, halting they must go and cross the stony bridge of woe to the Wizard's Isle, and there the throne, their fashioned of blood darkened stone. What are your names, O spearmen bold? Who are your captains? Ye have not told. Ne'er have been done with in warriors' tents, so we are called. In dark our den under the mountain. Over the waste we march on an errand of need and haste. Bulldog, the captain awaits us there with fire from under smoke and flare. Bulldog, I heard, was lately slain, mooring on the borders of that domain where Robert Thingall and outlaw folk cringe and crawl beneath elm and oak and near Doria. Heard ye not then of the pretty fay of Luthien? Her body is fair, very white and fair. Morgoth would possess her in his lair. Bulldog he sent, but Bulldog was slain. Strange, ye were not in Bulldog's train. Neb looks fierce, his frown is grim. Little Luthien, what troubles him? Why laughs he not to think of his lord, crushing a maiden in his hoard? That foul should be one who is fair and clean, that dark should be where light is been. Whom do ye serve, light or murk? Who is the maker of mightiest works? Who is the king of earthly kings, the greatest giver of gold and rings? Who is the master of the wide earth? Who despoiled him of his mirth, the greedy gods? Repeat your vows, works of Bowglir. Do the bend your brows? Death to law, to light, to love. Cursed be moon and stars above. May darkness everlasting old, that wait outside in surges cold, drown men way void on the sun. May all in hatred be begun, and all in evil ended be in the moaning of the endless sea. Then his flaming eyes he on them bent, darkness black fell round them all, when they saw us through a pall of eddying smoke, those eyes, profound in which their sense choked and drowned. He chanted a song of wizardry, of opening, of piercing, of treachery, revealing, uncovering, betraying. Then fellow goons, their swaying, sang an answer, a song of staying, resisting, battling against the power of secrets kept, strength like a tower, of trust unbroken, freedom escape, of changing in a shifting shape, of snares eluded, broken traps, the prisons opened, the chains that snapped. Backward and forward swayed their song, reeling and floundering as ever more strong, through chanting swelled, fellow goon fought, and all the magic and might of be brought of elveness in his words. Then the gloom gathered, the darkness growing, in Valinor the red blood flowing. Smoke gushes out in a roar, and Thalagoon swoons upon the floor. Behold, they are in their own fair shapes, fair skin, bright-eyed, no longer agape work like their mouths, and now they stand, betrayed to the wizard's hand. Thus came they unto unhappy woe, to dungeons no hope nor glimmer no. Chained in chains that eat the flesh, and woven in webs of strangling mesh they lay, forgotten in despair.